Debbie, Gina Grad, this is 429, 4/29. Here's a clean one. I am Vinnie Tortorich, folks. Your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, guaranteed, just like the woman on the other mic. She comes in every Wednesday. I'm talking about the beautiful Miss Gina Grad. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it's a wild world. It's crazy out there. I don't know why that song was on my mind, but it was.
I was listening to Cat Stevens all weekend in the desert, so that was right on point for me.
Really? Gina, I would not expect that of you. Why would you be listening to Cat Stevens?
It's so funny. The music that I sort of grew up on was, and it's funny because my parents hate that hippie folk shit. But in high school and in college, it was all Cat Stevens and Bob
this
Dylan.
was me 5 years ago.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's
this was me 5 years ago. I was listening to all this music and Joni Mitchell and Joan Baez and Neil Young. That's the music from like my high school and college experience because we're all hippies.
Yeah, I grew up, well, I'm on the tail end of the hippie folks, but all the cool kids that were older than us, they're now 70, they were all hippies,
Yeah, real hippies.
My mom and dad were high school teachers. And so, all of that Haight-Ashbury was going on.
Sure.
And then Woodstock came around. The first naked woman I saw in a magazine was Woodstock because a girl from our hometown was in that muddy mess that Playboy ran. And I saw that magazine. I was like, wait a minute, muddy, naked women? I didn't even know what to do with it. I was very young.
Yeah, that is that is so perfect. Oh my God. Yeah, mine was the sort of the borderline millennial rebirth of all of this. But it's so funny because we were listening to that all weekend. But then I had to throw in a little Merle Haggard, like if you don't like this country, leave it. And I remember when was it A Buck Was Still Silver?
Yeah.
And Okie from Muskogee. I mean, we really did the whole thing while we were down there.
So you listen to, I knew I loved you and Andy for some reason, because that's exactly what I listen to all the time. I can lip sync I can tell you the entire order of the Magic Cat tour, that album.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Because it was a live album.
Yeah.
That was recorded in Virginia, where I live now.
Oh my God.
And it's one of the last times he recorded live, or maybe the last time he recorded live ever. And then he decided to become Yusuf Islam or whatever, and he became Muslim. And that was that.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of tea for the Tillerman, a lot of Okie from Muskogee. We just driving through the desert and hiking and listening to that stuff all weekend.
What is your, all right, now wait. I don't want to, father and son doesn't count.
Yeah.
Because, all right, what is your favorite Cat Stevens song, father and son, out of the picture?
Okay. That's an unfair question because I love them all. But the first two that come to mind, the first song I ever learned to play on the guitar, and because it reminds me of one of my favorite movies, Harold and Maude, I love If You Want to Sing Out, Sing Out. And if you want to be free, be free. I love that song. And I love, I can't keep it in. I can't hide it and I won't lock it away. I love all that stuff. I love all that stuff.
Well, I was dating a woman at one time, and she had a son, and I would take him up to Mammoth with me every weekend to go skiing, and he was always inviting a friend. He was like 11 or 12. They were pretty young, right?
Yeah.
And I would take him up to Mammoth every weekend because they would snowboard and I would ski all day. And at some point, I was listening to Cat Stevens, and dude, that's so lame. That's so lame. They were trying to be cool, and the whole thing. And it's like, no, this song, Can't Keep It In. Do you know what it's about? And they were like, oh, no, it sounds, dude, that's just so lame. And I was like, well, let me tell you what the song is about. He's on a date and he's got terrible gas. And that's the song. He's going, I can't keep it in. I got to let it out. I got to show the world.
The world's got to see.
Yeah, well, and he can't, like, he's finding reasons to get out of his car. It's like, oh, I need to check the back tire here, and it's farting and the whole thing. We thought that was the funniest thing we had ever heard.
You just renewed my love for that song in a way I was not expecting.
Oh, you will never hear it again in the same way ever.
That
Ever.
was such a power dad move of you to say that that's what this song is about.
Now, do you know this song? I'm going to play, folks. You got to hang with Gina and me. We got other stuff to talk
We'll
about.
get there. We promise. Lots of stuff to get to.
All right, tell me if you even know this song.
Okay.
Okay, this is one of my favorites. Any idea?
No, I don't know that one.
It's called C79. Yeah, just some chick he banged along the way,
Your
And
mom.
he goes, we talked for hours, and I couldn't even tell you what color your eyes were and all that.
Oh.
It's
Oh, Cat.
you see, when people say they know Cat Stevens, I go, C79. They'll go, never heard that. Tell me if you've ever heard this one.
Yeah, they all know Peace Train.
Yeah, they know Peace Train. They know Moon Shadow, and of course, everyone knows Father and Son.
Yeah.
But do they know this? Ever hear that song?
Never.
Ban Apple Gas.
Like
He's
for
talking about
pesticides?
drugs. He's talking about hallucinogens and drugs. Yeah. And at one point it says must be healthy because it's sterilized, right?
Wow.
All the things that druggies would say about, and they show kids eating, he's like in this, you got to go watch this video later. You're going to go, wait a minute.
I can't wait.
I can't believe he's talking about drugs and he's got kid eating this Ban Apple ice cream. And he's like the ice cream man handing it out.
What?
And yeah, it was some kind of hallucinogen or something. And it smelled like bananas and apples mixed together. So it was called Ban Apple Gas.
This is the first time hearing of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was 1976. That's what we were doing back in 76.
Thank you so much for that detour, because again, I thought I was incredibly familiar with the Cat Stevens catalog, and you just schooled me once again.
Oh, I can take you down a Cat Stevens road where you'll go, wait a minute. I never knew these songs. I just gave you 2 songs you didn't know existed.
No, I would have done my whole life.
I could do that 10 more times.
Oh my God.
Yeah. When I say I'm a Cat Stevens freak, I
apologize for not taking you that seriously, because this was not on my radar today.
By the way, Cat Stevens, another British guitar player, slow hand, Eric Clapton.
Yep.
Okay. In the song Cocaine, the word cocaine is mentioned either 13 or 14 times. Got all the radio play in the world. That's why I loved when, what's her name? The wife of some politician.
Oh, Tipper Gore.
Yeah. Tipper Gore came out. We got to start labeling songs. It's like we were yelling cocaine at the top of our lungs and Ban Apple Gas. And by the way, I don't know if you guys heard the song White Rabbit, but the Jefferson Airplane had a few things to say about drugs, and I could go on and on and on.
Oh my God. That is so funny.
Oh, we need to label this stuff.
Yeah.
She was out of her mind.
That is so funny, because the only difference, from what I understand, in the UK is you can't say the name of like major company products. So so Paul Simon couldn't con camera. I like to take photograph. Kodachrome.
Kodachrome.
That kind of stuff was banned, but not cocaine.
Right. Because cocaine wasn't a name brand. Now,
that's right.
If it was Procter and Gamble's cocaine,
oh, it's done.
Then you can't say it in
That's
England.
right.
But you could go da 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 cocaine 13 times in a song, or 14.
Oh, thank you, Tipper.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tipper said, I'll figure it out.
First of all, she said it wasn't too sweet, which I take issue with.
Oh, she went, it wasn't too sweet. It's how I curbed my appetite. One bottle of Coke is less calories than 1/2 grapefruit. These are all things they were doing in 1961. And it gives me just the energy I need for a mid-afternoon pick-me-up.
Sure.
So if people think that this started 5 minutes ago, I got news for you. It started a long time before 5 minutes ago. So I mean, that's what we're dealing with here. It drives me nuts.
And I'm sorry, are you drinking a Coke right now? What are you drinking? Wait.
Hang on.
Vinny is railing against Coca-Cola, and he picks up this icy cold frosty glass of brown, like effervescent
It
liquid.
does look like Coke, doesn't it?
And I just kind of want to keep you honest. This is not a prop. He just took a giant gulp.
No,
What the hell are you drinking?
Okay. This time of year, every year, I start making my iced coffee again.
Okay.
So you're familiar with the Toddy coffee makers?
Toddy? No.
Yeah, you could buy these things for little or nothing on Amazon or wherever. But back in my day, you had to buy them from a store because I started using them in 1981 or 82, pretty much when I got to New Orleans. I got into brewing iced coffee. And it's the simplest because it's hot down there, right? If you want to drink coffee all summer long, it's hot. And it's a very cheap device. And it saves you to hold it. You're looking at it, hold it up and see if it's what. Yeah, that's it. Except mine is the old style where you have the glass canister and you put the plastic thing on top.
Right. Okay.
So the way it works is you put like a pound of coffee and then you would just fill it up to the top and let the two sit together. They tell you 12 hours, but that's a rookie move. 24 hours is a rookie move. If you're from New Orleans, you would put a pound of community coffee, medium roast, at least 36 hours, if not 48.
What?
You let this stuff steep. Now, you put cold water. You're not putting hot water in this vat. You're filling it up with cold water. Now, I do it with my my coffee. I now do it with either my, Pure Coffee Club house blend or the Athletic.
Smart.
Both make incredible iced coffee. So what you do is you go, wait, Vin, you put a whole pound? That's wasting a lot. No. When you let that out after 36 to 48 hours, it drips out so slowly, it takes forever to fill up that canister because it's coming out like a syrup almost. You have a coffee syrup. Now, you have something that'll last in your fridge for up to 2 weeks. It never makes it 2 weeks in my fridge. It always makes it about somewhere between 7 and 10 days, depending on how many espressos I'm having or whatever.
Right.
But you have coffee that you see, like when you buy an iced coffee from like a Starbucks or something, they're not doing this process. They're making coffee and they're sticking it in the fridge. That's why it tastes bitter.
It's just coffee that's just colder, regular coffee.
It's like a chocolatey, smooth. As a matter of fact, if you want to make hot coffee, you pour a little bit in a cup and then pour boiling water on it. You're going to have the smoothest cup of. It sounds like I'm doing an ad for these people.
Now I want this.
Yeah. But the reason mine looks frothy is because in this glass I'm holding up. All right, so I put about that much coffee in.
Yeah, about
of the syrup.
A quarter. Yeah, quarter, almost a half.
Yeah, and then I filled it with SodaStream water. It makes it fizzy.
What?
You have fizzy coffee. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I was trying to figure out why your drink was effervescent because that's not like you. I have never heard of this in my entire life. Wait, I just want to make sure I'm understanding this. I don't know why this is like breaking my brain. You put soda water, like club soda, like fizzy water in coffee.
Right, but I make it myself. I have a SodaStream. Yeah.
What is that like? This is breaking my brain. Two normal things that I've never considered putting together.
It's the most delicious. It's refreshing and it's coffee.
What?
Now, Gina, I'm going to take you one level further. If you would like, you can put equal parts coffee and tequila and put your fizzy water in your ice, and now you got yourself a drink.
What?
I've been doing that for years.
Are you serious?
I make drinks that no one else makes. And by the way, no sugar. And, the tequila gives it a nice kind of tequila-y, coffee-y thing. I learned about the tequila. I had a friend who was an alcoholic, and he would go to Starbucks and get a coffee and then pour tequila in it. I went, wait a minute. Those two go together?
Okay. Again, totally breaking my brain. Although we all laughed at the espresso martini, and now that's all anybody wants to drink. So before you get
Right.
crazy, remember the espresso martini that everyone was afraid of. What?
By the
Is this
way,
a coffee tequila?
if you were going to make an espresso martini, you
Uh-huh.
would be better off using the iced coffee because it
Totally.
doesn't have the bittery
Yeah.
espresso because and it's a very concentrated coffee.
Oh,
And you never get stomach acidity from it or anything because
that's what
yeah.
I'd be afraid of.
Oh, you could drink these, you could get high on these, and your stomach will still not have an acidity feeling because you're not cooking the acid into it.
What?
That's people go, why don't you just drink that all the time? I'm such a coffee freak. I like espresso. I got my espresso machine behind me. I have 20 ways to make coffee. I have
God.
Chemex. I have every French press, double French press where it double strains it. I have every form you can have when it comes to coffee. Right.
I I am in shock right now.
Because
Y
I'm
and
a Cat Stevens nerd and a
That's
coffee
right.
nerd.
That's right. And you know what this made me think of too? Now you can put random things together like nobody's business, but
Mhm.
I have a random thing that I don't think was on your mind. You told a story one time about how you were climbing something, God knows what this time, and you were at some, like, base camp, and everyone was having, like, bread and butter or, like, some sort of, like yeah, like a piece of bread and butter, and you obviously, eschewed the bread and just took, like, a pat of butter and ate it, and the girl who was sitting next to you was like, "Oh, that's so gross. Oh my god, how could you just eat butter?" And now, of course, that's not a very abnormal thing to do. People on, keto, people NSNG people would
Right.
just have some butter and be okay. So this is one of those things that you don't wanna sleep on, and you don't wanna make fun of Vinnie because 'cause you're gonna be doing it anyway in 5 years.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, she was this hot woman. English was a second language, and she was young and she was beautiful, and she was sitting across the table from me, and she's eating cereal and milk, and she had
Yeah.
some bread with butter on it, and everyone's carving up because
Yep.
it's like 3:30 in the morning.
What were
We're
you
taking off.
climbing?
It was Mont Blanc.
Of course it
Um,
was.
and we were at the high camp, and we were taking off in about an hour. And everyone was trying to carb up, and I was sitting there, and I was just eating butter, and I had the prototype with me for my NSNG Foods Ultra Fat. I had some of that
Yeah.
with me. I was mixing it. I had a little Tupperware of that, but I wanted to make sure I had something. And she goes, "You making me disgusting." I was like, I am, huh? Last night I thought you thought I was looking pretty hot over the campfire. Now I'm learning that I'm making you disgusting.
Disgusting.
And
I'm stealing that phrase.
yeah,
I'm gonna say it to my
uh,
husband all the time.
I can't make that up because I'm
No,
not smart enough to make up that phrase.
no, "You making me disgusting" is my new phrase.
Yeah, you're
That's
making me
amazing.
disgusting. Yeah.
So yeah, you broke our collective brain. I'll speak for everyone on putting soda water slash tequila in coffee. I want you
Mhm.
to patent that because the guy, Pilates is named after like Bob Pilates, Frank Pilates.
Yeah, yeah.
So
He was a dancer who broke his back and was trying to figure out a way to come back from it.
thank you. So we need to call this coffee a Tortorich, and no one will know why. But then we'll go, Vinnie Tortorich. So, you guys, just so you know, you can have a Tortorich or a virgin Tortorich. The
Mhm.
Tortorich, I'm proclaiming it right now, is the coffee tequila mix. The virgin Tortorich is the coffee fizzy water mix. So you can have a Tortorich or a virgin Tortorich.
Yeah, 2 words that have never been put together before, virgin and Tortorich.
Well, we
Yeah,
have we have so much to get to.
you can't agree with everything that moves. By the way, I wrote something
Yes.
down when
Oh,
we're
please.
between shows, remind me to tell you between
Oh,
shows.
okay, hold on.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. I'm just making a note.
Yeah.
Um So I watched your doc. It was amazing. I cannot wait to talk about it. And I don't want to have too harsh of a segue and give people whiplash. But if it's okay with you, I would love to get a health update from you. because
Perfect.
I have some friendly concerns and I want to make sure you're okay.
Well, as for the audience, Gina and I are recording this the day before I start my chemo. It's already been announced on a Monday show that came out on the 6th that I went on chemo. By the 6th, I will almost be off of chemo. The reason we're doing all these shows early is it turns out to be a win-win because I don't want to have to work too much during chemo. And Leona Lois on the show, she's going off on a trip for a couple of weeks. So she needs to be ahead on doing all the show notes and everything she does. So by the time you hear this, I will be done with the chemo portion of the thing, and I'll be on to the staying away from people portion because Gina's dad and I,
Yeah.
her late father, same cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing they told me, they caught mine very late stage, and they had to give me a boatload of chemo last time, back 17 years ago. And the doctor reiterated, well, I guess you would have to reiterate more than once.
Sure.
You reiterate it, but
Iterated.
yeah, she said the biggest fear is that you will die from infection.
Right.
Because your white blood cell counts are low, and we're going to be knocking them even lower.
Which is what happened to my father.
Right. And guys, if you had seen Gina's father, he wasn't very old. Was he 70, Gina?
He had just turned 70. I mean, he was 68 when this whole mishigas started. He was the literal picture of health. I mean, you guys would have been best friends, ran every day, strong as an ox. That had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, he was a streak runner. He ran like literally 10 miles a day, right, Gina? Some
At
weird
least.
like that.
And he never had headphones because this is something I think you can appreciate just from being this type of guy. Never ran with headphones, didn't need them, would literally just repeat old baseball stats to himself the entire time.
Completely agree with that. I totally understand that. And so, look, I mean, we had the same kind of cancer. He got an infection in his PICC line, and that eventually killed your father.
Yeah.
That's what they were telling me. Your biggest problem is you can't be around your dogs.
Nope.
You can't be around anything. You just have to. So this time around, they're giving me a fraction of the amount of chemo, and they've caught it early enough that my immune system will not be that suppressed. But here's the crazy thing, Gina. I had to call my mom finally because the show is coming out where I announced this. And I didn't want to tell my mom because she had lung surgery to get a tumor off of her lung last week. So I didn't want to, put that on her.
Yeah.
Right. So, well, the world's getting ready to find out. I got to call my mother. And so I called her up and we're chit-chatting about this and the other. And I said, oh, by the way, Ma, I got to go back and take a little chemo. And she goes, I had a feeling.
Really?
And I said, was this one of these old Italian babushka mom? What is this? She goes, nah, your older brother told me that you were a bit tired while you were down here. You were just a little worn out.
Oh boy.
And, so my family, they can see, and Serena's been saying for a while, there's something that's not right.
Wow.
I'll do 90 minutes of aerobics and I feel fine while I'm doing it.
Right.
But then an hour later, I'm like, I can't keep my eyes open.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'll sit in my chair here in my office and close my eyes for a half an hour, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then goose myself up on coffee and do podcasts and talk to
Right.
people.
Oy. And just trying to find your stasis, when you're used to working out hard and doing all your shows and just so your body and your brain are probably like, well, we know what is normal, so let's do what we got to do to get to normal. But you shouldn't have to do anything to get to normal.
That's exactly right. I've been off for a while. I knew I was sick before they even took the blood test. I knew what was coming because I'm in tune.
Right.
So when you're in tune, you're in tune, and that's
So
that.
the goal, hope, the plan is to just do the one dose.
Yeah, 7 days. I go in every day for 7 or 8 days. It might be 8 days,
Oh,
but I don't have to. The last time, they're going to put a line in me every time.
yeah,
Last time I had the pick line and
yeah,
pumping it 24 hours a day, and
yeah.
you have to keep that thing clean and dry and
That's right.
all the things, right? And so yeah, a lot less this time, and then I'm sure 6 weeks from now they'll go in and do another bone marrow. Look, I was supposed to fly out to do Corolla and another show, um, and I had to call Corolla and said, "Hey,
Mm.
you guys mind if I zoom in?" And they said, "Yeah, we could do that." So I'll be zooming into Corolla.
Okay. Well, because I'm sure I speak for everyone listening, saying, we're worried, but we're not going to tell you that because we don't like to hear health news of any kind, except maybe a hangnail or a splinter.
Yeah,
That like you said, this is early, and because of thank God, thank you, because the way you've kept yourself so healthy the last 17 years and beyond, this, I imagine, could be worse in the sense that, like, well, yeah, I mean, Jack in the Box and Carl's Jr. were sustaining me, but I guess they won't anymore. You've been so healthy. Your
right.
body is so always ready for a fight that this is just, goosing you with caffeine will goose you with a little chemo and we'll get over this hump.
Look, Gina, I made it 17 years. They told me I'd be back on chemo in 5 years.
Incredible.
And it's almost identical to what Dr. Thomas Seyfried has said on this show twice since I've had cancer. He said, cancer is a metabolic disease. And I'm not saying that you can completely cure it, but you can keep it away for a lot longer. And when you get
Great
it,
book.
they can use a lot less drugs. And guess what? Instead of 5 years, I went 17. And instead of having a pump on me 24 hours a day, I'm going to have it on me for 2 hours a day. So it's a fraction of the amount of drug going in.
Right.
And I'm planning on coming home. It's sunny here today. I plan on coming home, hydrating a lot, taking my ultra salt, drinking a lot of water, drinking a lot of coffee, because coffee is an ergogenic and it's healthy. And, taking my vitamin E, taking my D, taking everything, and sitting out in the sun in my
Mm,
backyard. Just sit there in the sun because I can't do a whole lot.
right.
Right. I have my archery range set up. So if I feel like I have a little energy, I might pull a few
Of
bows
course.
there or whatever if I feel it. If I don't, I don't.
Yeah.
Right. But I want to keep myself occupied. I'm going to keep doing the phone calls.
But
This
I mean, look, I ain't no doctor, but can you please at least not walk 10 miles while you're doing the consults?
I won't be able to.
Good. I
You
don't
know,
want you to.
yeah. The walking and all that will be just kind of walking around the yard.
Yeah.
I like to survey and see what needs being done. Right. I like cutting my own grass, but my yard is undulating, so I
Yeah.
can't. I can't go out there and sweat it out and have all this
No,
shit going
this
on
is
my
not
road.
the time.
No. So I got a guy coming in to take care of my lawn, but I'm sure I'm going to have a lot to say about that.
I was
Um,
gonna say, have you seen him since last time? Uh-oh.
I don't want to get into it.
Okay. Yeah, this is not the time to stress you out.
I went out this last Sunday,
Yeah.
and it kicked my ass. I was out there for 4 hours. I got my yard straight again, and
You did it? Who
yeah,
paid you?
no one paid me.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so I did it, and then I had to do shotgun duty at I was a range officer at the shooting club.
What?
We we open to the public every Sunday, so everyone on the shotgun team, meaning skeet and trap,
Yeah.
um, every 8 weeks you have to work at the club
Oh my god, it's like a
for
little
free.
co-op.
Yeah, you just go in and work, and because we have new people coming in that want to try the sport and the
Sure.
whole thing. It's always people that belong to the club that come, so
Yeah.
you don't really have to do a lot
Like
in the way of
teach them.
safety
Yeah.
or anything. But every now and again, someone meanders looking around, kind of like Tim Conway used to walk into the room on a Carol Burnett show and look around.
That's right.
People are looking around. It's like, do you know why you're here? Do you have a gun? Would you like to shoot my gun? Would you like to teach
Well,
you how
that's
to
you get a family like the Grads where for my dad's birthday one year I took him to the Is it Oak Tree? Yeah, Oak Tree Gun Club.
Okay, Gun Club, yeah.
And we fired off a couple rounds and we had a great time. So sometimes you just get some, civilians that wanna do something different.
I was a member there. There was membership there.
Oh, I know. Oh,
Yeah.
I know 2 people who are members, and you were one of them.
And the other one was probably Frank Stallone.
3 then.
Yeah, the Frankster. I would always see him on we would always be on trap fields right next. How they had all like 5 or 6 trap fields lined up next to each other?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I would always practice on a field by myself, and he would always be right on the next field. And it's like, I should really go over and introduce myself. We would kind of wave to each other. We never really met or knew each other. And I had an end. At the end of it, I could have said, "Hey, we have Adam Carolla in
Yeah,
common,"
of course.
that kind of thing. But I didn't want to bother a guy, and I didn't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
I
It
didn't
just
want to
wasn't.
become friends with someone, and then
Yeah, the whole thing.
yeah,
You're such a guy. It's crazy.
yeah. Then
Um,
you gotta go nurture that.
yeah.
So,
Ugh, feh. Yeah,
mm.
no, I totally understand, and I loved going up on the golf carts and doing, like, the simulated, like, the little, like, rabbits that would go by or
Yeah,
you shoot those it was just so, so cool. I just love that
sporting
place.
clays. That's called sporting clays.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. The little no, you have to do your finger like this and say the little rabbits.
The rabbits that went by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know we don't have a ton of time. I'm gonna do a little, business during the show as opposed to in the middle of the show. Can I tell you a quick story and get your opinion, and then we talk about keto on the next show?
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay. Because I really wanna give that obviously the proper time because there's a lot to get to. But this, in our people, a wives' tale is called a bubbymyces, an old
Mhm.
wives' tale that the old bubbies would sit around and make up. And I've got to find out from you if this is a bubbymyces or not, because this is gonna you even talk about in the movie, and you've talked about it so many times here. There are no shortcuts, there are no free lunches, there's no way around. Are you sure? Because this doctor, Dr. Karan Raj in the UK, National Health Service surgeon, is really taken to TikTok and taken TikTok by storm by saying that you can cut the glycemic index of bread if you freeze it and then toast it. And so now I think there's gonna be lots of people, bread flying off the shelves, shoving it in the freezer, then toasting it, and says the glycemic index is a measure used to determine how much food can affect your blood sugar. We know that. So he says if you take a slice of white bread and then freeze it, and then defrost it, and then toast it again, you could lower the glycemic index of the bread by almost double. And then he says this all happens because more retrograded starch is formed, and retrograded starch is a type of resistant starch which is beneficial for your gut health because it acts more like a fiber. Vinny.
The resistant starch thing has been around for a long time. When I first started doing this podcast 11, 12 years ago, I used to talk about UCAN, which is a resistant starch that they would use in certain people in hospitals. And then people like me started using UCAN when we wanted to do low carb, on the bike and whatever.
Sure.
You can put this mixture in the water. It doesn't taste like anything. It was just a resistance cornstarch that they modified,
Mhm.
not genetically modified. It was kind of like the same thing Uncle Ben's converted rice is, right? It's
Huh.
and UCAN wanted to advertise on my show. They were like, "Oh my
Sure.
God, you've brought this UCAN thing to the forefront." Guys like yourself. And I said, "No." I said, "The problem is that you are a grain, and I'm against grain." They said, "Yeah, but you're using it." I said, "Yeah, because there's nothing else.
Right.
There's nothing else that's portable that we could take on a bike." Now I created a thing, ultra fat, and a lot of other people have created things you can use, right? That are non-sugar things that you could take hiking and camping. It
Right.
sounds like a Tampax ad, go
Yeah, go horseback riding.
do whatever you want. Um, but there was none of that back at that time, right? So, and then UCAN got fancy. They started adding flavors and
Mhm.
stevia and everything else because most people went, "Yeah, it works, but it tastes like shit," right? Because it was made for medical use, and
Right.
Then they started putting other flavors in it, and chocolate and vanilla and everything else, and they were off and running like everyone else. And I went, boy, I'm glad I didn't jump on that bandwagon,
Right.
because they wanted to pay me a lot of money.
Well, you'd have to rebuild your brand after they started bastardizing it.
Right. And, converted rice, parboiled rice and all that. Uncle Ben's is the brand
Right.
that we know of, converted brand rice. That has a lower glycemic index. We've learned that partially boiling potatoes and not boiling them too much, especially yams, you could get a lower glycemic index. Here's the but.
Okay.
But it's still a high glycemic food. If you are metabolically broken, I'm going to say that again. If you are metabolically broken, you have a little, I feel like Jeff Foxworthy. If you have a CPAP machine, you might be metabolically broken. If you are taking 3 or more GLP-1s, you might be metabolically broken. If you weigh more than 350 pounds,
you might
be metabolic. I could go on and on and on.
Sure.
This is not going to help you, folks. It's not going to help you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to be the voice of reason. This will not fix you. There is no cheat.
Mm.
You've done everything. Now you got to do the other thing. You've tried it all. You went to Diet Coke. What did that do for you? Anything?
It made me want Doritos.
Bueller? Anything? No, did nothing for you. You went to this, you went to that, you tried all, and I got a film that just came out. Gina just watched it.
Yep.
Right? Dirty Keto. Boy, they're there to hand you all kinds of promises. Well, I'm glad you brought this up because I was able to bring it back to Dirty Keto.
Good. Tease that a little.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm here telling you, you can lie to yourself, but you know what? Your liver is a meritocracy.
Right.
Your liver is the OG. Your liver will not lie. Whatever goes in, your liver will pump out. You can tell yourself, a guy on TikTok
said I froze it and I toasted it. I'm fine.
Yeah. Oh, Uncle Ben's rice. I heard if you eat corn after you put it in the fridge and then take it out, put it in the fridge again, and shove it up your asses. Okay. You can do it all. None of it will help. You understand? Does that make sense, Gina?
It does. And tell me if I'm translating this correctly. To me, this sounds like if you're really trying to get healthy, if you're really trying to get things squared away, this is more of a Band-Aid on a broken leg situation.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, a Band-Aid on a broken leg will do more for you than this. Because that won't actually hurt you anymore. This will actually continue to hurt you.
Right.
So I would like to say it's a Band-Aid on a broken leg, but we can't even do that.
Well, just to put a bow on it, I'll give you the other one. These nutrition twins, I think they've got their fame because they're twins and they are into nutrition. And their big secret is to, if you love, any sort of dessert or whatever, all you have to do is freeze it and then you'll eat it slower. So you'll only eat like one chocolate bar because it takes longer to eat because it's frozen as opposed to 3 because you're just sitting there eating them at room temp.
People who are addicted to food, you can freeze it, you can pour dog shit on it, and then put some Comet on top of that.
Not going to make a difference.
They will figure out a way to eat it.
Yeah.
Like heroin or anything else. And by the way, why do we give a shit when people are twins? We started with the double mint twins.
We love twins.
We love twins.
Yeah. And they're twins.
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
Great. We didn't have enough with one. I'm tired of our fascination with twins.
I agree.
Well, we had one lady that had a litter of kids back in 10 years ago. Remember that? Octomom. She had like 20 kids or something, like a litter.
Yeah.
How many octa means 8?
Well, she had 8, but she already had a couple as well, I think. That's a big brood.
Yeah, I'm sure she's supporting them and she's not on any kind of government aid. At any rate, folks, go watch the movie. It's coming out at the end of this month. Also, We still have UltraFat. You can get the UltraFat. Go to nsngfood.com, nsngfoods.com. Get the UltraFat. Put in promo code Vinnie, Vinnie, no wimpy Y. And what? Oh, nothing. No big deal. Just 15% off. I'm giving it away.
Nice.
I'm not making a dime. I'm trying to get it in your mouth because here comes summertime, right? Here comes hiking and camping and canoeing and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Whitewater rafting, this kind of thing. Gina likes to go to the desert, look at rocks, at goats, whatever.
That's right.
That woman could pet a goat with the best of them.
Alpacas, goats, you name it.
Yep. I'm not even making that up.
It's totally true.
Gina, tell them where they can find you and all of your stuff.
Yes, especially around this here Mother's Day season, but it's always Mother's Day season when you like your mom or at least anyone you consider a mother figure. Go get them My Extra Mom, the children's book I wrote about extra moms in your life. Of course, you do that by going to VinnieTortorich.com. You click the Amazon banner. Doesn't cost you anything. You just get it that way. And I knocked a couple of bucks off as well. So My Extra Mom over on Amazon and My Extra Family, my family account over on Instagram at My Extra Family.
There you have it, folks. So on behalf of Miss Gina Grad, put life into living and let's do it with a little bit